Now, next up is the clash of Sligo and Limerick.
This was the first ever championship meeting between Sligo and Limerick, although they had met twice previously earlier this year, once in the league and once in a challenge match a few weeks ago. Sligo won both. But here, Limerick, looking for their third qualifier victory on the trot, started brightly. Ger Collins scored 2 penalties in the win against Antrim last weekend, but he decided against going for goal here. This was a match low on quality, however. Sligo were guilty of 7 first-half wides, but from time to time they did find their range, like this effort from Mark Breheny. It was 6 points apiece at the interval. In the second half, weather conditions deteriorated, and so did the standard of football. But in the squalling rain, Ger Collins kept his shooting boots working. But Sligo were doing well in some key areas, like midfield and up front, where the introduction of substitute Stephen Cohn for the second week in a row made an immediate difference. This the first of 2 important points, replicating his contribution against Wicklow last week. Another Sligo substitute, James Kilcullen, who's a nephew of former Sligo star Mickey Kearns, backed that up with this impressive score. But Limerick were never far away on the scoreboard. Micheál Brosnan reduced the gap to the bare minimum here. In a match where chances were at a premium, Cohn was on hand again to supply another excellent score. In the dying moments, Limerick's attacks grew more frantic, and they felt they had cause for a penalty here, Limerick believing Shane McManus had handled the ball on the ground. But the referee waved away their appeals, and Sligo got a glorious goal opportunity themselves a moment later. It was 4 against 1 here, but Sligo captain Adrian Marin decided to go it alone, his effort going wide. Limerick would cut the gap back to a point a moment later, but with the last kick of the match, Shane McManus popped up to fire over the final score and give Sligo a 12 points to 10 win.
No, it was a tough game. Conditions were very, very poor, to be honest. We created an awful lot of opportunities, but we didn't take them, and it left Limerick in the game right up to the better end. They were unlucky not to score a goal maybe a couple of minutes before the end of the game, which would have put us under serious pressure. But look, we dug it out, and it's a good result.
Progress would have been a win today after the disappointing display against Tipperary. If we came up to Sligo on a away trip in the qualifiers and got a result, I think that would have been real progress. Yes, we're delighted to have stayed in Division 3, and it'll give the younger members great matches again next year at the beginning of the season. But you're really disappointed when you lose these close games. They're the ones that really count.
This was a clash between 2 sides that had impressed in the qualifiers, but spurred on by some vociferous support, it was the Munster men who stunned the hosts with a blistering opening. Just 3 minutes were gone when Conor Sweeney picked up the ball, a neat jink, and he was away. From close range, he tucked it expertly to the far corner. But to their credit, Laois responded immediately. Some good work by Donny Kingston led to John O'Loughlin being sent through, and he drilled his strike under Paul Fitzgerald. The perfect tonic to a troubled start, but then the deluge started, both off and on the pitch. In biblical rain, Tip almost goaled again later in the half. George Hannigan denied only by some brilliant and acrobatic defending from Kevin Meaney. On the follow-up, Sweeney tapped over the point, but it was a narrow escape for Tommaso Flaherty's side. With their half-forward line impressing in particular, Tip racked up the scores, Laois struggling to catch their breath. Philip Austin's point here put 5 between the teams, 1-8 to 1-3. Just over a minute later, and Tip inflicted yet another body blow. Barry Grogan's delightful pickup was followed by a shot that dropped short. Graham Brodie's error was gleefully punished by Sweeney, who tapped home. 10 unanswered scores for Tip, a 10-point lead for them at the break. Inevitably, though, there was a Laois response, but few expected it to be so ferocious. They grabbed a badly needed goal within minutes of the restart, substitute James Finn showing composure and accuracy to reduce the deficit. There was a renewed vigour to Laois, and they almost had a third goal minutes later, Colin Begley denied by Fitzgerald. But they weren't kept out for much longer. Kingston teeing up Conor Meredith, and suddenly it was a 4-point game. Laois weren't about to surrender their momentum, and their power and determination led to a fourth goal later in the half. David Conway's contact wasn't the cleanest, but it had the desired effect. The furious and relentless white wave continued, and after some good work by Billy Sheehan, Conway managed to kick the equalising score. But a couple of points from placed balls kept Tip in front, and then, with Laois committing men forward, they conceded on the counter-attack. Grogan handed the easiest of tasks. There was to be no further heroics from the Midlanders, despite an exceptional comeback. Tip march on. The full-time score, 3-17 to 4-9.
We were down 10 points at half-time, but in fairness to the lads, they showed a lot of courage. We gathered together and, we spoke a little bit, and we wanted a bit extra from everybody, basically, and we got that, and we brought it back to a level. But then, having lost all those lads, Tipperary pulled away again in the end.
I think we learned from the experience of Cork we had tonight. Tonight we closed out the game, and I know the best thing from our point of view, there's still buckets of room for improvement, and but the players deserve everything they got. They've worked really, really hard, and they got a big Tip following here as well. So it was a great day for Tip football.
Great win for Tipperary, Pat. Is that the performance of the weekend?
I think it was, because not alone was it probably a surprise performance, but it was the absolutely brilliant quality display by Tipperary. I mean, they were the highest scorers in the entire National League out of the 4 divisions. And we're just looking at the very first minute. Look, and this is about their play. They bring the bodies back. Stephen O'Brien dispossesses a Laois defender. But watch, there's so much good about it. They're bringing the ball quickly. Here's Stephen O'Brien now in the middle of the field, having dispossessed the man. Beautiful kick pass, like Kerry did last Sunday. A lovely run into the corner by Philip Austin. And again, it's patient, it's composed, there's nice support play. And watch here again, because I think this is an absolutely brilliant ball from Peter Atchison. And watch this for a goal. Conor Sweeney, class forward, dummy to the left. OK, the defender slipped, but hit it low under the goalie. Absolutely superb. We made the point at the start, Des, that there should be an open draw. I mean, there's the real proof. I mean, they've scored 5 goals and 34 points in their last 2 championship matches. That's 24 points again. Superb football. But it's paying, it's reaping the rewards of all the hard work that Tipperary put into the development of Gaelic football at underage level. And I'll tell you this, there won't be a pushover for Galway in the next round.
No, you were saying to me